The HOA in our neighborhood had always been power-hungry. But things took a turn from annoying to insane the day they went after my sister and her kids. My brother-in-law is a long-haul trucker, and my sister has 3 little ones, ages 6, 8, and 10. They live in a modest house on the edge of the subdivision. Nothing fancy, nothing problematic. The kids play in their own yard, ride bikes on the sidewalk, and sometimes walk to the nearby park. Apparently, that was too much commotion for the HOA board's resident tyrant, Marlene. She'd already complained about the kids' sidewalk chalk drawings and tried to fine my sister for having a kiddie pool in the backyard. My sister ignored her. That should have been the end of it. But no. One afternoon while my sister was at the grocery store, the kids were playing in the yard with their neighbor's daughter, a teenager who sometimes babysits them. A white van with a rental company logo pulled up. 2 people got out wearing polo shirts with Protective Community Services embroidered on them. They claimed there was a custody concern and that the children were being taken for their safety until the matter was resolved. The teenage neighbor tried to stop them, but they threatened to call the police for interference. The van drove off with all 3 kids. When my sister came home and found the kids gone, she called me hysterical. I drove over immediately and started calling every police department within 50 miles. Nothing. No reports. No custody orders. No emergency welfare checks. That's when I called my dad. Our dad, whose existence the HOA had blissfully ignored, is a federal judge. Not a county magistrate. Not a local civil court guy. A full-blown, lifetime-appointed Article 3 federal judge with jurisdiction over some very big things. I told him exactly what happened. He was silent long enough for me to worry he'd hung up. Then he said, in the calmest voice I've ever heard, "Stay with your sister. I'll handle it." 20 minutes later, unmarked government SUVs were flying down the street. 4 federal marshals got out and headed straight for the HOA clubhouse. 10 minutes after that, the marshals emerged with 3 board members in handcuffs, including Queen Marlene herself. But where were the kids? My dad had already figured it out. The Protective Community Services van was traced to a private security firm the HOA hired. They had taken the kids to one of the board members' lake houses 2 towns over, thinking they could intimidate my sister into complying with HOA standards or temporarily suspending her parental access until fines were paid. That plan lasted about 40 seconds after the marshals kicked down the door. The kids were fine, confused and scared, but unharmed. They were back with my sister by evening. Now for the fallout. My dad didn't just let the local DA handle it. Oh no, he kicked off a federal kidnapping investigation. Interference with custody, unlawful restraint, and conspiracy to deprive civil rights under color of authority. They tried to argue it was a neighborhood safety hold and miscommunication. The marshals had body cam footage. The U.S. attorney was not amused. The HOA's insurance company bailed and canceled their policy. Every board member involved resigned or lawyered up. The HOA itself is now under federal investigation for fraud, unauthorized security operations, and misuse of funds. And my dad? The next morning, he had a court order drafted that permanently bars the HOA from having any contact with my sister's family, or attempting to exercise any authority over them whatsoever. He also had their bylaws referred to the state attorney general for legal review. The best part? At the next community meeting, the remaining HOA members tried to spin it as a tragic mix-up. My dad attended in person. He stood up, introduced himself, and said, "If any of you even think about my grandchildren again, I will personally ensure the only association you manage is the prison commissary line." Are we clear? They were very, very clear. The neighborhood's been quiet ever since.